This is a breaking news alert. There is no trade deal between Canada and the United States. Moments ago, the United States Trade Representative Jamieson Greer put out a statement saying that Canada declined to finalize the trade deal. As I noted yesterday, Donald Trump and his regime was pretending that there was a deal or a concept or a framework, that Donald Trump did his own extension right when the deadline was about to hit. And I said, I don't believe there's a deal. Show me the paperwork. Show me the deal. Now we're hearing from the United States Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. He says that the United States will be imposing 50% tariffs on Canada. Right now, we've heard from Prime Minister Carney, who has responded, Canada will be engaged in severe and swift retaliation against the United States. Prime Minister Carney said that he would not submit and be bullied by the United States. And Carney always said from the outset that no deal is better than a bad deal. And as I've always said, you can't do any deal with bad people. And Donald Trump is a fraud, and the people he surrounds himself with are frauds and bad people. Trump is a felon. Trump separately is a sexual predator. He is a deviant. There is no doing deals with people like Donald Trump. Let's take a look at what the U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer just said. This is breaking news right now, folks. Greer says that Canada declined to finalize the trade deal. Canada is continuing its retaliation against the United States, Greer said. Yeah, retaliation, meaning you attack Canada and they are retaliating and responding to your trade war, you idiot. Greer then goes on to say, U.S. offered more favorable access to the U.S. market. You should just be honored to have slightly more favorable access. And Canada was like, treat us with dignity, treat us with respect, or get the hell out of here. We don't need to do a deal with you. Canada has looked to Europe and Asia to expand its trade relations outside of the United States. Senior Trump administration officials say the Section 338 tariffs, those are the Smoot-Hawley 1930 tariffs that led to the Great Depression. Yep, Donald Trump is a smart guy, everybody. Let's bring back the Great Depression tariffs. The 338 tariffs of 50% of certain Canadian imports will take effect 12:01 a.m. That's right now. On Saturday, senior Trump regime officials said an agreement would have reduced the tariffs substantially. Prime Minister Carney put out this statement moments ago. Let me read it to you. Over the past 18 months, Canada's new government has focused on building our strength at home, diversifying our partnerships abroad, and striking a fair deal with the United States. Our objectives in our trade negotiations have been the following: preserve tariff-free access to the U.S. for the vast majority of Canadian business, provide greater stability to our trade relationship, significantly reduce U.S. tariffs on our key strategic industries so that Canadian business in these sectors would have the best access of any in the world, protect our small and medium-sized businesses, the lifeblood of our economy, including by removing the imminent threat of new tariffs, and maintain our flexibility, independence, and sovereignty so we can keep building the Canada we want. We have recognized from the beginning that America has changed and that we will not return to our old relationship. Our government understood before many that America is altering all of its trade relationships, putting tariffs on its closest allies and charging for access to its vast market. We have worked in that context to strike a fair deal that would provide the best access to the U.S. market and greater certainty to Canadian business and workers. Throughout, our goal has been to secure the best deal for Canadians, never a deal at any price or on any deadline. In recent weeks, we made important progress toward improving Canada's position as having the best deal in the world with the U.S. However, that progress has not been enough to meet our objectives for Canadians. As a result, this evening, I have decided to suspend trade negotiations with the United States and have directed Canada's negotiators to return to Ottawa. They have worked hard in good faith to defend the interest of Canadians throughout these negotiations up until the very last minute. However, last-minute changes in the U.S. proposed terms were unfair, uneconomic, and called into question the reliability of any deal. At midnight tonight, the U.S. intends to impose a 50% tariff on roughly $28 billion of Canadian goods. Canada will match those tariffs dollar for dollar to protect our workers and businesses. In the coming days, the government will introduce additional measures to support Canadian workers and businesses, building on the nearly $25 billion in support provided over the past 18 months. These actions complement Canada's core economic strategy. From day one, we have been focused on building our strength at home and diversifying our partnerships abroad. That strategy is working. We are advancing nearly $500 billion in major infrastructure projects. In parallel, we are unlocking new export markets for Canadian businesses. Our existing free trade deals already provide Canada with preferential access to $1.5 billion. So 1.5 billion consumers, and we are on track to double that market access by the end of this year. Canadian economic growth is accelerating, and we are on course to have the second fastest growth in the G7 over the next 2 years. Our economy is creating jobs at 4 times the rate of the United States. Our exports to non-U.S. markets are on track to double over the next decade. Foreign direct investment in Canada is at its highest level in 2 decades, running at twice the rate of our nearest G7 competitor. Canada now ranks as the most attractive country in the world for infrastructure investment. Canada has what the world wants, and we will not allow any nation to determine our future. We will set our own course to keep building Canada strong for all. Signed, Mark Carney, Prime Minister of Canada. History, folks, this evening, Friday, August 21 into the early hours of Saturday, August 22nd, Canada saying, we will not be bullied, we will not submit, and we will not have last-minute terms be injected by bad faith U.S. negotiators, which call into question the very essence of these discussions in the first place. And Prime Minister Carney said, we will respond with retaliation as well. Donald Trump earlier today, before that deranged rally that I just covered in South Carolina, said, I think we're going to get the deal done with Canada. I think we're going to get a deal done. And then we're going to do a deal. I'm a deal guy. Deal, 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 deal. Nope. You are a fraud guy. You are a felon guy. You are an effed up guy. You are a complete sicko guy. Here's what Donald Trump said on his way to South Carolina. Let's play it.
With Canada, have you come to a deal there?
Pretty much, I think so. We'll see. I've dealt with the Prime Minister, have a good relationship. And yeah, we have to take care of our farmers. The farmers are very important to me. And the deal with Canada is moving along, and we should be able to have a deal with Canada. We're also starting on a new deal with Mexico. A much better deal for the United States. I only make good deals. Much better deal for the United States, both with Canada and Mexico. Thank you very much.
Then in that same outside of the Qatari Air Force One with Natalie presser that Donald Trump threw, Donald Trump said that if the bond market doesn't treat him nicer, because the U.S. bond market's just a disaster right now, the 30-year Treasury yield, 5.2, 5.3%, the 10-year, 4.7, 4. And this is just going to make it way worse. Also, Canada is a major U.S. bondholder. If Canada unloads those bonds, we could be seeing a 6 handle, a 7 handle when it comes to that 30-year. Things could get very ugly very quickly if Canada just starts unloading some of those bonds as well. And if China does and others, this could get really ugly for the United States. But Donald Trump said, if the bond market doesn't treat me nicer, we may go to war with the bond market. There's always the war option, the military option. You're going to use the military against the bond market, you idiot? What are you talking about? Play this clip.
Did you direct Secretary Bessent to intervene in the bond market? Was
No,
that your idea?
not at all. No, he's a very capable man. He wanted to do it. He's very good at it. He has a good touch, very good natural touch for the bonds and interest, and he did that, yeah.
The yields have come back up since then. Have you talked to him about another type of intervention? Is that something he will be
We
doing?
have many types of intervention. That's one. The ultimate intervention is our military. And if we have to use that, we will, yeah.
And then earlier in the day, Donald Trump talked about how he was going to throw the American ranchers under the bus in favor of foreign ranchers. And Donald Trump said that the foreign ranchers would be bringing in huge amounts of cattle so that the price of ground beef would go, the price of beef would go down, and that they would undercut domestic ranchers by 25%. And the U.S. domestic ranchers were like, WTF? What are you talking about? So Donald Trump was asked, so who'd you do that deal with, Donald? You claim you did a deal with other countries that were going to now export more beef into the United States to undercut the U.S. domestic market artificially by 25%. Tell us, who's this deal with? And Donald Trump goes, I don't want to say, I'm not going to tell you. Here, play this clip.
Question about it.
Mr. President, on that beef deal, which countries did you make that deal with? What are the sources
Which
of
deal?
the beef deal?
I don't want to say which countries, but there are a few countries, but they're going to be sending in the highest quality beef, and it's something that we need.
And I do want to give a hat tip also to one of my favorite premiers in Canada, Wab Kinew of the great province of Manitoba. Kinew said yesterday, remember I covered Kinew's speech, he said Donald Trump is getting handed L's everywhere. Play this clip.
Why do you think this is so important to Trump in these discussions?
Well, he's getting handed L's everywhere he turns, so he's got to try and do something, right? So, like, when does this stuff happen? Iran started when he was getting clobbered on the Epstein files, and then he laid this threat when he's getting clobbered domestically on the cost of living. So he's always trying to change the channel. And on this stuff, yeah, I guess we're taking advantage of the fact he's paying attention to Canada, but I just wonder if accepting the idea that Trump tariffs are here forever is the move where we wanted to give up some of that leverage that we've had up to now.
More from Kinew mocking Donald Trump losing the catastrophic war to Iran. Let's play it.
And in terms of you said to fight more, what makes you think that a better deal or better terms could be achieved than what the Prime Minister and their team have achieved?
Well, Iran has bloodied Trump's nose already, and they're coming crawling to us asking for us to include their American firms in procurement and to put the booze back on the shelves. So to me, that's weak. American president is weak. He's threatening us. And I think if we kept pushing, I think that we'd probably get more.
Are you concerned we're losing our leverage if we give up on that?
Well, where is our leverage going to be now? Right? Like, we're going to get a Kuzma process, which means this negotiation is going to lead to more negotiations. With who? A good person on the other side of the table? And then what's going to happen in those negotiations, right? So we do need leverage. I just think that, yeah, it's an interesting situation to be in because Team Canada, right? We do get strength from being unified here together. So maybe we'll make this move together. But I think Canadians should be clear-eyed about what we're going into here and about the significance of this. And you know what? Like, fully respect the Prime Minister, fully respect his mandate, but I do think it's really notable that it's the provincial actions on procurement and alcohol sales that have commanded the attention of the American administration.
And yesterday, Wab Kinew, the Premier of Manitoba, said, we should fight. We know the U.S. is weak. Don't back down to that orange loser in the White House. Here, play this clip.
I think we should fight. I think Donald Trump is very weak. I think America is weaker around the world today than it was a year ago. He's about to get slaughtered in the midterms, and the cost of living is the #1 issue, and he is completely out of touch with the cost of living of Americans. I think we should fight. I think we've got the upper hand. They're back on their heels right now. They're coming to us for a deal, and so I think we should fight.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thank you for watching, everybody. We stand strong with Canada over here at the MeidasTouch Network. Elbows up, fighting for sovereignty, fighting for democracy. Don't be bullied by these fascist Trump regime people. Thanks.
Hey, if you want the full story, how democracy got here and how we take it back, pre-order our new book, WTF America, today. Just scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Let's do this.